As a gardener, you should save seeds. That's probably nothing new. I'm sure you've heard it before. And especially as a new gardener, you're probably wondering if it is something you should do. Hi, I'm GardenerScott. I'm a master gardener, and I discuss everything gardening so that you can become a better gardener. Today, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you should save seeds. You can save any seed in your garden. It's that simple. If you have a plant that flowers and then those flowers turn to seed, there is nothing stopping you from saving those seeds. Now, this video will discuss why you should do it intentionally. But the actual idea of saving seeds can be intimidating for some gardeners, especially new gardeners. You think there's so much to it that it's complicated and you just don't want to even attempt it. Well, I'm here to say, attempt it. Save your seeds. Now, I do have to give you a few caveats. If the plant that you're growing that produces the seeds has a patent, then it might not be a good idea for legal reasons to save that seed and then grow it the next year. And you see this a lot with the big commercial growers where they buy patented seed and it's against the law for them to save the seed and plant it again the next year. So every season they have to buy new seed. That doesn't happen very often in a vegetable garden. So, generally speaking, for just about everything you're going to grow, you can save your seed. Now, there are different reasons why you want to save your seed, and if you're saving it to grow plants for the next season, you also need to be aware that a hybrid plant is not going to produce seed that will give you the same parent plant that you're growing. But that shouldn't stop you. And as I'll discuss in just a few moments, I actually encourage that you save seed from your hybrid plants, but we'll get into that in a minute. For now, save your seeds. And here are 10 reasons why. The first reason is that it's easy, crazy easy to save seeds. Very little effort is involved. All you have to do is allow your plants to flower and produce the seeds. In this bed, I have some pea plants, and I've been harvesting peas for a few months now. But I just let the plants go, left some of these pods on the plant, and they're maturing and then drying. And I'll just pull these pods off, and inside will be hundreds of seeds that I can plant this season or next. The only work involved is just watering a little to keep these plants alive. But the plant does all the work in producing the seeds. Sure, there will be a little bit of effort when I come through and collect all of the seeds that develop on these flowers and those flowers and those flowers and all the other flowers in my garden. But that work is minimal. The point being, you don't have to do anything special to get your plants to produce the seeds. Plants will naturally flower and seed, and all you have to do is just come along and collect them. That's why it's so easy. 2020 was a crazy gardening year when it came to seeds because many of us just couldn't find them. You may have encountered that yourself. You went to order seeds online, you went into a nursery, you went into a big box store, and the seeds were already sold out, especially for new gardeners who were looking for something to do to occupy their time. They were very limited in the selection of the seeds that were available. Well, if you save your own seeds, you now create a sustainable garden. You can get to the point where you never have that problem again. You never even need to go to the store to buy seeds because you're collecting your own year after year. This is a great reason why you should start saving seed if you're not doing it already, and why you should start saving more seed if you're already doing it. Don't be limited in your selection. Don't go to the store and find out that everything is sold out already. Create a sustainable year after year plan where you know exactly what you're going to be planting and harvesting because you're saving your own seed for the following season. And saving seeds will help you become more self-reliant when it comes to your family's food needs. You don't have to always go to the store to buy what they have available. When you know what your family likes and what your family eats, well, then you can decide that that's what you're going to grow. And when you save the seeds from those plants, you can keep growing exactly what your family wants. You're not reliant on anybody but yourself. And we all know that growing plants from seed is a great way to save money, because a package of seeds allows you to grow a whole garden, as opposed to what you spend at the store for maybe just a small bag of produce. And that leads right into another reason why you should save seeds. It saves money, not only because you're growing more in your garden with more seeds that you save, but the mere cost of the seeds themselves. And some of these seeds can be quite expensive. If you're saving your seed, well, then you don't have to buy more. I've had seeds that I've saved year after year for more than a decade. I bought one package, and then the plants that grew from that one package when I saved the seeds gave me plants for more than 10 years after, because every year I saved more seed. Well, you can get to that point, especially if you like gardening and you keep expanding. Rather than buy dozens or hundreds of seed packets every year, save yourself some money by collecting the seeds of the plants that you're growing. Another reason that I like to save seeds is because it creates a gardening legacy. You can save seeds and pass them on to your children and your grandchildren. This is one reason why heirloom seeds are called heirlooms, because in many cases they've been passed down through the generations, and they have a story to tell about that plant, that fruit, and it helps to relive some of those memories. If you have a particular food that your family eats, well, save the seeds. And not only will you continue to eat that plant because the family loves it, but future generations can enjoy the same plant. They can enjoy that same experience where the family gets together and maybe it's on Thanksgiving with a green bean casserole. Well, if it's the same green beans that your family has been growing for generations, doesn't it make a day like that even more special? And by saving the seeds, especially from plants like heirlooms, you're acting to increase the genetic diversity of the world. Think about it. Wouldn't it be terrible if we all ate the same plants? If all of our gardens looked exactly the same? That's one reason why I think gardening is so special, because it's all different. My garden doesn't look anything like yours, but we're in danger of reaching that point because the seed companies tend to push the same varieties that we all have success with. And then we tend to grow that plant that we all have success with. Well, spread your wings a little bit and grow something new. Grow something different and save the seeds of that plant. There are so many varieties of so many plants that don't exist anymore because you can't find the seeds. The companies aren't selling them. Seed Savers Exchange is doing a great job trying to counter that influence from the big companies, but it starts with you and your garden. Here, locally, we have a tomato variety called Goose Creek Black. You can't find it in any store. It's one of those tomatoes that does very well in this region, and so a lot of us grow it, save the seed, and then share it with other gardeners to keep that legacy going, to keep the stories going, to keep that genetic line of tomato going. That's a great reason why you should save seeds. And that ties in well with the next reason why you should save seeds, and that's to share them. When you save seeds, you're going to have way more seeds than you could possibly use. A single tomato will give you dozens, if not hundreds, of seeds. Some of the herbs will give you thousands, if not millions, of seeds. Well, that's way more than you could possibly use, so share them. Share them with friends, with family, with neighbors, with strangers. This is such a good way to expand your garden, because if you share seeds with another gardener, chances are they have seeds to share with you. And now you get seeds not only for free, but from a variety that you know does well in your region because another gardener has already grown it. And it adds even more diversity to your garden. So grow your plants, save your seeds for all of these reasons. But when you have your seeds, share them with another gardener. This is one of my favorite reasons of why you should save seeds, and it's to promote the wildlife in your garden. It's so simple. By intentionally saving seeds, well, you're intentionally letting your plants flower, which is exactly what pollinators need, and all of those other beneficial insects. They need the flowers. So let your plants flower. It doesn't take up much space. We've already seen that it's very little effort. But by planting it, letting your plants get to the point where they're producing seeds, you're doing so much for the garden, so much for the environment around us. And if for no other reason than to save the bees, well, plan on saving your seeds and enjoy the flowers along the way. I told you I would talk a little bit about hybrids, and in this reason, it's all about the hybrids. I encourage you to experiment, to try new things, and intentionally save the seeds that you know to be hybrids. For example, I've got pumpkins and squash and zucchini all growing in this hugelkultur bed. Well, they're going to cross-pollinate this year. It's not going to affect the fruit of this year's crop at all. But when I save those seeds that have been cross-pollinated, I've created a natural hybrid. I have no idea what will result. So sometimes it's just fun to save the seeds of plants that you know are cross-pollinated and see what happens. You may have a great harvest with a great tasting fruit that has never existed before. I think that's exciting, and I always try to do a little bit of that. And then you also can take a hybrid that you like. A few years ago, I had some sun gold tomatoes that landed on the ground and they sprouted the next year. This was at the Galileo Garden. Well, I let those tomatoes that sprouted continue to grow. Sun gold is a hybrid. Well, the plants that resulted were all over the spectrum. I had red tomatoes, I had orange tomatoes, I had yellow tomatoes, I had big tomatoes, I had small tomatoes. I had good tasting tomatoes, I had terrible tasting tomatoes. I would have never seen the result of planting hybrid seeds if I hadn't done it. Now, I didn't repeat it because I didn't like any of the tomatoes that resulted. Sun gold was just too good. But it was an exciting year to experiment and see what could happen. Stick around after this 10th reason because I've decided to add a bonus reason of why you should save your seeds. As to this one, I also think it's a great reason. It's because you will learn more about your plants. You'll learn more about gardening. You will become a better gardener if you save seeds. This is a spinach plant that I'm allowing to grow to seed. This doesn't look like spinach that we're used to seeing. Most of the plants we're harvesting long before they flower and go to seed. So you don't get to see the entire life cycle. You don't get to understand about the plant and how it grows unless you allow it to go to seed. And this is so true for so many of the plants we're growing in our garden. We just really don't understand much about the plant. We put the seed in, grow it, harvest it, and that's the end of it. But get to know more about your garden. And you can do that by letting your plants go. Let them flower, let them seed, and then you collect it. And in the process, it's so great to gain that extra gardening knowledge. The bonus reason to save seed is that many of the seeds are edible, but we don't even know that because we never wait to that point where we can eat the seed. Like pumpkins. After I harvest all these pumpkins, well, I'm going to save the seed and then roast them. And I'll have delicious roasted pumpkin seeds as a snack. There are lots of herbs that we grow for the leaves, like dill. But if you let dill grow, well, now you've got dill seed, which you may be paying a lot for from the store. The same with cilantro. I love cilantro leaves in my salsa. Well, by allowing the cilantro to grow, the seeds now become coriander, which is another thing that we buy at the store and spend way too much on. Well, you can do it all yourself by growing the plants, saving the seed, and then using the seeds in your diet. Do check first, do a little research to make sure that the seeds are edible, but in many cases they are. And it's a great way to get just a little bit extra from your garden. To learn more about seeds and more about gardening, well, click on one of these videos to continue your journey. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.